After playing and beating my first Resident Evil game, Resident Evil Revelations 2, it left me with a yearning for more things creepy. I'm usually not one to be too thrilled by horror games and such, but this game truly changed how I feel about this genre. So far, it's the only horror game that I've completely played through and beaten, fully. And I think a big reason for that is the lore of this game. It makes playing through the game so interesting because there's just so much lore to be found throughout the maps. You can find these little notes left by the victims and stuff explaining how things were before the events in the game take place. Even just looking at the map itself, the scenery and stuff like that. To give some context, in this game you get kidnapped and sent to a remote island that's filled to the brim with these zombie looking individuals, and they just try to murder you. Everyone is just trying to kill you, everything is trying to kill you. And it turns out all these zombies are residents of a small town on this remote island, and they became evil, and that's why the game is called Resident Evil. No, but for real, they just they were actually subjected to some pretty cruel experiments that turned them all to monsters. It makes more sense if you play the game, but yeah, play the game if you're looking for a game to play. I got it on sale on my Nintendo Switch, so it was definitely worth it in my opinion. But that's besides the point. Now that I've finished the game, I want some more creepy stories. If only there was a place, perhaps a website, with an abundance of short creepy stories for my enjoyment. But yeah, I'm going to be reading 3 stories from Creepypasta.com, and afterwards I will rank and review them. I'm going to review them first and then rank them out of the 3 that I read in today's video. And since there's always new stories coming out, I figured I can make this a series if it does well. Even if it doesn't do well, I don't really know what else to make videos about, so go ahead, get cozy, grab a little snack, and if you really want to get spooky, light a candle, turn the lights off, and try not to get too creeped out. This story is titled The Grass Got Too High. This story is by James A. Brown. I think. Either that's the author or the name of the character in the story. Let's begin. It's been raining all week, and I can't mow my lawn. This is bad. I can hear the grass. I hear it when it gets too tall. It whispers. Out there in the lawn. Out there in the night. I can't tune it out. It's humming no matter where I go in the house. After what seems like forever, I open the window. There it is. Small voices, like 100 babies cooing. All that one word. The most horrible word ever made. Eat. Over and over. Eat. 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 I've never eaten so much salad. More salad in the last month than in my entire life. More roughage, I tell myself. Good roughage. Almost as good as fine grass in the summer. It sounds like an old saying. Maybe something horse people say. Maybe something horses say. Maybe something crazy people say. The whispering started when Kathy left. She moved in with her new love, Bob, that prick she works with, who I knew from the get-go was after her. Well, Bob got her alright, and she's gone. We're still sorting out the house, but for now it's mine. It's taking months because she's always gone on trips I never bother with. Bob lives for trips. He would always mention that at work functions, when Kathy would whine about not going anywhere. Prick. Anyway, one night I was partaking in my newest hobby, crying my stupid self to sleep, and I cracked the window open a bit. That's when I heard whispering. I figured it was some kids pranking me. It's not enough that life kicks you square in the nads. Life has to add cruelty of strangers as an extra topping on the crap pizza that your life has become. I went outside with a flashlight and a bat and tracked the whispering to somewhere behind the house. I pointed the light directly at the spot where I heard the whispering, but no one appeared. Also, it went quiet. I walked all around looking for the suspected punks, but nothing. As I headed back into the house, the whispering kicked in again. I sprinted back to the source, keeping my light off until I was on top of it. I could tell the sound was coming from the ground right in front of me, right there on the lawn. I turned my light on the spot, and instantly, silence, with nothing there. I walked all around looking for wires or anything that would explain it. Nothing. I went back in and shut the window. The next day, I mowed the grass so I could see better, but it was only grass. After that, peace, until the grass grew back. Until the grass grew back. The patch of whispering grass is about 10 feet in diameter. It is under a branch of an old Japanese maple tree, the one tree in my yard with dark red leaves. The branch, a thick gnarled one that almost reaches the house, fans out at the end, resembling a claw, and looks like a monster's arm trying to grab my roof. Folks are creeped out by it, especially Kathy. It is pretty cool. It was another thing about my house that was different, and I love that. I told Kathy it keeps those neighbor rat kids out of our backyard. Also told her someone would pay a mint to have that, so it stays. Her giving in was a clue that something was up. When we first married, we'd fight and have some real doozies. Getting my way rarely happened. Kathy's far better than me when we get emotional. It makes her smarter than me. I get wound up, then I blubber. And I have a hard time knowing the difference between what happened and what I felt happened. Sometimes, after I've said something that made perfect sense, I realize how flat out goofy I sound and burst out laughing. Sometimes Kathy joins me and it's okay. Sometimes she doesn't and things get worse. Lately, Kathy stopped fighting me. She would say whatever and go to her work office we made for her. She'd shut the door and call a friend, the argument now over. I'd stand there and smile, the victor smile, the smile of a complete fool holding a gold-colored rock. I'd hear Kathy laughing, and something about that laugh ended my smile. Now I know it was Bob. I bet she gave in on things because she was getting her way with him. Here and there, she'd whisper and talk real low. If it bugged me enough, I'd lean in on the door. I'd hear Kathy talk about going over, and then her chair would squeak and she got up. I'd quickly skip down the hall and turn, acting like I was just walking by. She'd stick her head out and say she was going to hang out with a friend. She wouldn't look me in the eyes as she left. She would yell, "See ya," over her shoulder. I decided she was pouting, so I ignored it. I'd have the house to myself, and I'd prance around, the king surveying his castle, nodding ever so regally to the low-born furnishings. Speaking of the castle, it was after we moved in that the neighbors told us the stories. Kathy didn't want to think about it once she knew. I thought it was wild and gave her house even more character. One Saturday, I decided to do some research and found articles in the papers at the library. Working back in time, I found quite a bit. In May 1979, a boy of 15, who some thought was gay, shot himself back there, in the same spot I heard the whispering. A visiting uncle who'd come for the funeral had a heart attack and died on that spot. In 1963, the young couple who had just bought the house set their newborn on the grass to play. They turned for a moment to lay out a lunch, and the baby let out what everyone described as the most horrible scream. There were little cuts all over its back, and it died after that day, screaming the whole time. The doctor said it was probably an allergic reaction. The couple left and were never heard from again. But not before they poured gas on the spot and burned it. Sorry, I'm laughing a little bit because, like, dang, bro, my reading skills are not as good as I thought they were. In July 1949, a mother murdered her family in our house and hung herself on that gnarled, monster-like branch, slicing herself up good as she died. The kitchen knife landing blade down in the blood-soaked grass as she finally went. The kitchen knife landing blade down in the blood-soaked grass as she finally went. Like, what are these tongue twister sentences, bruh? In 1932, a woman came to the spot, a psychic, and she left shaking and would not respond to anyone on the subject. She later wrote a book about various haunted sites and spent a chapter on the spot in the backyard and the deaths that happened and would continue to happen. The chapter was called Meat for Salad and said she didn't know what it meant, but it wasn't good. In September 1899, a horse broke loose from its wagon and started pawing that spot, eyes wild and frothing at the mouth, eating the grass and dirt. The horse had to be put down, but not before it took a couple fingers from the one guy's trying to help it. They burned the horse to play it safe. And finally, the original settlers reported that Native Americans avoided the spot, saying an evil spirit slept there. When I got home that day, I walked back and looked at the spot. Really looked at it. The grass was a different shade of green than the rest of the lawn, darker and harsher. I ran my hands through it, and it was sharp, cutting me a little. Maybe something got in me through those tiny cuts, I wonder. When I went back into the house, Kathy was waiting with Bob. That's when she told me. That's when she left me. Bob's car was out front, loaded with some of her stuff, her car with more. I hadn't even noticed that she was already gone. I remember sitting there, staring at the spot, thinking about Kathy leaving, finding out how I did, my hands burning from the grass. My hands settled by the morning, and it was a couple weeks before I opened that window and heard the whispers. I wonder if anyone else could hear the grass whispering. I didn't dare ask the neighbors. They would think I'm crazy. And as I work from home, as a network security consultant, hardening firewalls and the like, the neighbors already see a geeky shut-in. One of them had jokingly asked Kathy if I'd burst into flames if I stepped into the sunlight. It's bad enough Kathy left me, but to add hears whispers at night to the mix would not bode well for my continued residence. You haven't seen someone driven out until you've seen suburbanites band together to the task. So, I just mow the grass and keep it mowed. Doing that had one perk. It disproved the whole bursting into flames theory. It has rained all week. I usually mow on Saturday and Wednesday, but thanks to the rain, I haven't been able to. I decided Thursday that it didn't matter that the grass was wet, as I could hear the whispering even with the windows closed. I needed to mow that spot at least. After working, I ate a quick salad before going out to mow, but I got so sleepy I ended up on the couch. I remember leaning to the side, and then I was out. Thunder woke me, and it was dark. The grass bested me. Last night the same thing happened. I got home and fell asleep. Today, Saturday, is 2 weeks since I last mowed the lawn. I have no idea why I didn't think of this before, but after waking up last night, I recorded the whispering. I played it back and there it was, eat, in a soft, evil, and whispery chorus. I uploaded it and asked people what they heard. Comments were that it was relaxing. That probably meant they weren't hearing the whispering, except for one. The comment was simply creepy. I asked for details, but they haven't replied. Someone heard it. Most didn't, but that's okay. One did. One other soul to back me up. Something is going on with that grass. I fell asleep after that and slept through the day. I missed my chance. I could hear the grass loud, as if it were around my ears, and as usual, it made me hungry. But I needed something else on that salad. Meat. I never craved meat as part of this, but the grass wasn't this tall. Now that I wanted meat, I tried to eat my usual lazy supper. Some well-charred beef roast, mashed potatoes, and vegetables. All of it made me sick, except the vegetables. Though I'd just thrown up, I ate those vegetables, then ate more. Then I gave into the salad urge and tore into a head of lettuce and celery and ate it all. I still want meat. Then realized cooking was the problem. I thawed some hamburger and chowed on it raw. It was so good. Even though I'm stuffed, I want even more. No, the truth is, I want the grass. Yes, the grass. I want to get down on all fours like that horse, eating it down to the dirt. I want to dig up the roots and eat those as well. Okay, a moment of sanity. That's crazy. I know that. But it's getting so strong. On top of that, my skin is getting so dry, I can see the lines in it. It looks like someone is tattooing tree bark patterns into it, even as I watch. Tomorrow's supposed to be sunny, finally, but I'm not going to make it. The grass got too high and too loud, and I'm so very, very hungry. Yeah, this dude's about to eat somebody, bro. I bet he's about to eat somebody. My phone goes crazy, startling me from my haze of hunger. I just got a bunch of texts. Kathy's coming over. She needs to talk, and she's sorry. She says she was stupid. Bob turned out to be such a jerk. They were in the Bahamas. She got a cold. She pretended to anyway. She caught him banging a maid. So sorry. So sorry. It'll be a couple of hours. She's loading her car. After that, the texts blur. I can't read them. Everything's getting, I don't know, overgrown. The whispering is getting louder and deeper. They no longer whisper, they speak. Grown grass speech. All brushing and swishing and slippery. Some raw meat with my grass, they say. Finally, they are ready. It's time for us to become something else. It's time to stop being just me. It's time for me to do as I'm told. Yeah. I hear the knock at the front door. Small, apologetic, weak, and oh so raw. Dude, the grass done got to him, bro. Eat, says the grass. Eat. Yo, that's it. That's the end. Alright, so the author is James A. Brown. Alright, this one got a rating of 8.2 from, like, I guess, the website. My review, there was definitely some sentences that I feel could have been phrased better. Either that or I'm just, like, a horrible reader. But, I liked it. I liked how it kind of, like, built tension towards the end. Like, it was very kind of unassuming as to what the grass exactly would make, what would happen with this grass, you know? And near the end, you know, we kind of see, like, you know, okay, like, he's gonna eat somebody. And it ends up being his ex, Kathy, which is wild. Out of 10, I'd give this on the creepy scale, maybe like I'd say a solid 8, maybe even a 7, just because it's not necessarily like too creepy, like it didn't make me jump out my boots, you know. But it was interesting, more interesting than anything. So 7 on the creepy scale. Overall, I'll give it a solid 8 for being like pretty interesting. So originally I wanted to read 3 of these for like one video, but that took like 20 minutes, and I don't want to I edit on my phone, and I don't think I could export like a 30-minute video, so I'm just gonna stick to one story per video. So yeah, if you like that story, if it was, I don't know, maybe calming or it was actually creepy, then drop a like, you know, go ahead and subscribe, you know, do something. That's today's video. I'll see y'all in the next one.